Welcome in, I'm Artris, and in this video, we're going to be going over the undisputed best deck in the format, Sakazuki. Now, you're probably wondering, it's been almost a couple of months since OPO 5 has started. Why are you just now going over Sakazuki if it's that good? And one reason for that, full disclosure, is when I play a deck in One Piece, it's probably going to sound stupid to a lot of you, I like to play decks of characters that I really like and enjoy, hence why I play Enel, why I played Rebecca last set, and Sakazuki, coming from an Ace fanboy, I just hate the character in general. The leader ability is no doubt one of the strongest in the game, and if it was any other character besides Sakazuki, I probably would have played it, but I think it's fair to give it a shot, especially since we saw over the past weekend, at the time of this recording, that it topped at the EU Nationals with Fabian Godgluk's list right here, and also not only that, it was just top 4, so it is a very strong deck. I think there was over like 700 people that were playing it. And of course, with this deck topping the European Nats, we're going to see a lot of it going into the North American Nats this week, which I will also be playing at. So if you see me there, say hi. And also please wish me some luck because I'm definitely going to need it. So I figured there's probably people out there that are new to the game, looking to get into it, maybe looking to get into OPO 6, saw that EU Nats had a fair amount of Sakazukis played and are wondering, how does this deck operate? How does it work? And I figured, why not take a stab at it, go into it, and kind of explain the process of the deck. Now, if you're a Sakazuki main and you've been playing this leader for a while, this list probably seems very standard to you, and this video might not be very fruitful, but if you do find anything in this video informative or helpful for your One Piece experience, please make sure to drop a like and a sub. It helps the channel out immensely. Also, if you'd like to talk about One Piece card game outside of the YouTube comments, please make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description below. So let's get into this deck list, because as we see, it is a very standard deck list, but there are a couple of things that are different about this deck list from other people's decks that also were playing Sakazuki. So right off the bat, the leader, if you're unfamiliar, let's go over it really quickly. Activate main once per turn. You may discard one card, then draw one card. This cycling ability is very, very handy, especially with this deck, because it allows you to fill up your trash, which some of your characters benefit from cards being in the trash. Also, on top of that, it gets cards that may be dead in your hand just out of the hand, and then you can get something new, hopefully get a new line of play for that turn. So that ability alone is great. But hold on, there's more. When attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters cost -1. So that also allows you to be able to combo with some of the pieces that are also in the deck to get your opponent's characters cost lower so that you can use the effects of other characters or card effects, which we'll get to in a second. But those two effects alone on the leader make it worth running. It is a 4-life leader, but that doesn't matter because this leader is so strong in the color combinations of blue and black with removal, and then the leader ability having two things that are very powerful. There's no doubt that this deck topped. So looking at the list, we're running 3 of the 3-cost Tina. This is probably the one dud of the deck. I would probably change this if I could, but for the sake of this video, we are just going to be playing the winner's deck list. This card on play, if your hand has 5 or less cards in it, draw 1. So it's a great play going first, because you're going to play this down on your turn 2, and then you can draw a card off of it. Otherwise, it's a 1k counter or just something to discard for your leader ability. We're running 3 of the 7-cost Borsalino. This is your only top end. This card, on play, plays up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or lower to the bottom of its owner's deck. So this card, comboed with some other pieces in the deck, will allow you to be able to pretty much take care of anything on the board, just bottom decking one thing. This deck, by the way, really excels at taking care of 1 character a turn. So if your opponent plays 2 characters in a turn, this does struggle a little bit, but we do have the Rob Lucci, which we'll get to in a second, which does take care of that. I just wanted to make that a note before we go any further. Next, we have 3 of the 4-cost Kuzan. Usually you'll see about 2 Kuzans in the deck. This card, if it sticks on the board, is extremely strong and hard for your opponent to deal with, because what you're going to end up doing with this card is attacking with it and then minusing something's cost by 4. Super strong. The only downside to this card really is that you have to attack to get the -4, so you do have to wait a turn, which gives your opponent a chance to respond. So if you can throw this down on your turn 2, you're drawing a card, and then you have a huge threat that your opponent probably can't respond to. If they're playing yellow, they have a couple of options, which yellow is a very strong deck into Sakazuki. It does contend with it, but you typically are going to be able to play this and not have anybody respond to it efficiently. Next, we're running 4 Surus, which this is a Navy type 2K counter that says on play, reduce the cost of up to one of your opponent's characters by 2 during this turn. So you can either use this to protect something, or you can play it for the effect. The utility on this card is very strong with the deck. We're running 3 of the blocker Borsalinos. On the opponent's turn, this character cannot be KO'd by effects, and it also gains plus 1000 power. So a very sticky blocker that is very hard for a lot of opponents to deal with, unless they're playing bottom decking cards, which Sakazuki does. Then we're running 4 brand new. This is the Searcher of the deck, so naturally you're going to want to go second because this Searcher is a 2-drop, so you can play it on curve going on your turn 1. And this says, on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Navy type card other than brand new, and add it to your hand, then trash the remaining cards. So once again, synergy with trashing cards, and then you can find Navy, which there's a fair amount of Navy cards in this deck, as you can see so far. Everything we've talked about, the Borsalinos, both the blocker and the 7 cost, the Kuzan, Suru, and Hina are all Navy type. Then we're running 2 Sabo. This is not a Navy type, but it is a black blocker card that is extremely strong. You've heard me talk about it before, and I'll say it again. One of the most OP cards in the game, in my opinion. Your characters cannot be KO'd by card effects for an entire turn and then draw 2, trash 2. So filters out your hand, fills your trash up, cannot be KO'd. Your characters can't be KO'd for an entire turn, so that protects a lot of things. Playing like a Kuzan and then a Sabo on like your 9 Dawn turn will ensure that the Kuzan will be able to swing the following turn, once again, unless it gets bottom decked. But overall, Sabo is a really strong card. We're running it at 2 because we don't want to see it too often, but when you do see it, it is very strong. And it can be fetched out of the trash, like a lot of your cards can with the Rebecca blocker, which we'll get to in a second. We're running 2 Mancheries. This card is very annoying for your opponent to deal with. They have to answer it, and also on top of that, what it does, just in case you're unaware, activate main, pay 1, rest this character, return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of the deck in any order, and then return 1 3 to 5 cost black character from your trash to your hand. So this will recycle cards that have fallen into the trash. Maybe it could be a blocker like a Rebecca blocker, or maybe like a Rob Lucci, a Sabo, a Borsalino. You can grab pretty much your entire deck, minus this 3 cost Hina because it's blue, from the trash. And often what you're going to end up doing with this is doing a blocker cycle. So you can put this behind a blocker, use the blocker to protect it, and then pay the effect for the next turn and get the blocker back, which is very annoying. And then, of course, the whole reason why you would play this deck is the 4 cost Rebecca blocker, which came out in OPO5. It says, on play, return up to 1 black character other than Rebecca with a cost of 3 to 7 from your trash to your hand, then play up to 1 cost 3 or less black character from your hand to the field rested. The entire combo, which you'll see often played, is you'll play Rebecca, grab a Hina from the trash. Hina on play minuses 4 to a character, and then you can play a Rob Lucci after a leader swing, and then reduce characters by a bunch. Play the Rob Lucci, and then boom, you just took care of 2 characters while establishing 3 bodies on the board, which is extremely strong. So yeah, this is the whole reason why you would want to run the Sakazuki deck. And of course, this is one of the reasons why there's not a lot of top end, because you're going to be using a lot of Dawn to get that effect going, or in that play going. So yeah, overall though, this is the entire reason to play the deck, in my opinion. And of course, the Rob Lucci, which I just mentioned, is on play. You may place 3 cards from your trash on the bottom of your deck in any order, KO up to 1 of your characters with a cost of 2 or less, and up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. So basically, you're getting 2 characters on the board down low enough to a 2 and a 1, and then you play a Lucci, and then you KO both of them, which is extremely strong. And then, of course, the stat line is a vanilla stat line, which is nuts. So yeah, Lucci, once again, is a extremely strong card, but it came out in OPO5, so there's a lot of good support that came out in this set for Sakazuki. This deck, you can just see why it has topped a lot because of just the synergy with all these cards, the trash, KOing, minusing effects. There's just so much good stuff in this deck. Next, we're running another playset of 2Ks with Tashigi this time. It's the same thing as Suru, except instead of the on-play effect, it is activate main. You may rest this character, give up to 1 of your opponent's characters -2 to their cost during this turn, so it is repeatable, and this gives your opponent an incentive to swing into it, either protecting yourself from taking life damage for that swing. Overall, it will be mostly used as a 2K counter. However, like I said, in this deck, there's a lot of synergy, so it can be used for a -2. The utility is really just out of the world. Next, we're running 4 of the 3-cost Hina, which came from the starter deck. This was a card that a lot of people forgot about, and then when Sakazuki came out, this card went up in price. And honestly, I think it's one of the most expensive cards in the deck, and I think it's just because it came out in the starter deck. The starter deck cards have not been reprinted, and so if you grabbed one at the time, you're extremely lucky in order to be able to get it instead of having to pay a ridiculous cost. But besides that, the effect is on play. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 to their cost during this turn. They may not seem like a great card because it's a 3-cost 5k body with no counter, but what you do is you just use your leader ability to throw this in the trash and then get it back with Rebecca. Like I said, that combo is really strong. Being able to -4 to any character on the board on play is extremely strong. It gets a lot of cards into range of being able to bottom deck them or KO them with other effects. Now, in my opinion, the most OP card in this deck is Houndblaze. I think that this event is extremely potent. It is up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 3,000 power during this turn, then place a character with 2 or less cost on the bottom of its owner's deck. A 2-cost removal spell that pumps up a character by 3,000 power is extremely strong. Great value there. What we often see happening is early game, you'll be able to swing with your leader, get something down to a 2-cost, and then you've probably played a brand new at that point, and then you put the Houndblaze on the brand new, pumping it up to 6k and swinging 5 and a 6 and bottom decking an opponent's character, and now they have an empty board. That play is bonkers in my opinion and makes Houndblaze, once again, why I think it's the most OP card in the deck. Of course, I could be wrong here, but playing against Sakazuki's plenty of times, Houndblaze feels unfair. But of course, this is part of the deck, and I think one of the other main reasons besides the Rebecca, Lucci, Hina combo to run the deck itself is Houndblaze is just absolutely nuts. Next up, we're running 2 Ice Age, which normally you'll see like 1 copy. And so this card, give up to one of your opponent's characters -5 cost during this turn. I know that a lot of people thought this card was a dud to begin with, but I think that with the amount of synergy that this deck has, being able to just pay 1 Dawn to get something down, like a 10 cost down to 5, leader swing, get it down to 4, and then you could play a 7-cost Borsalino to bottom deck it is extremely strong. So like big moms don't really stand a chance. Any top end doesn't really stand a chance with Ice Age. So this card is good to hold on to. Expecting like maybe a big drop to come down later. You want to hold on to this if you can, rather than like shuffle it out of your hand with the leader effect. Next up, we're running 4 Great Eruption, and this is a 1-cost event that says main, draw 1 card, then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. The trigger effect is your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. Typically, you're going to want to not use that. You want this in your hand instead. This card is extremely valuable. One of the reasons that this deck works very well is that you're able to use this effect -2, and then you're not diminishing your hand at all. You're actually replacing the card with another card that you could play. So Great Eruption is a 4 of for sure, and honest to God, this card paired with like Houndblaze, paired with the entire deck is just, I can see why, and I understand why this deck is heavily played, why it is very heavily represented, and why people would want to take this to a tournament because of just all of the synergies, the amount of cycling that the deck does, being able to see the pieces you need, and kind of putting it together like a little puzzle to be able to come out on top is, honestly, Sakazuki is just extremely strong. And once again, I would play this deck if I could, but the thing is, I just don't like Sakazuki as a leader. The character, he's like my least favorite Navy character. I know that's like probably really weird for somebody to say, but when I play One Piece, I like to play to have fun, and hopefully you guys do as well. And I don't want to be playing a character that I don't care about. But for the sake of this video, let's take the deck list into the sim and see how it does. Going against a Sakazuki mirror, this mirror is very intensive. It's going to be difficult, not going to lie. I think we want to keep this hand, though, because we do have a Hina and a brand new. So let's just keep it and then get rid of the Kuzan because we don't really need it right now. It doesn't really feel like a good play to play a Kuzan down if you can't like immediately answer something. I'm going to go 5 at face, see if they take it or not. 2, 3, 4. We can just play down the Hina, draw a card, and pass. Not an awful hand. We do have a fair amount of 2Ks, which we can protect ourselves with. Although, for me, I typically will want to take the first hit or 2 just to get more knowledge on what I can be playing. What would be good here for me is to find a Houndblaze. So let's take the damage, see what we can get. I want to keep the Borsalino. I think that it is a good card to keep. I'm going to get rid of the Lucci, though, right now, because it's not really one that I need. So that's very funny there. Let's see if we can get a Houndblaze off of the top. We don't. Let's get a Borsalino going. What can we do here? I think we just go 8 because I don't want to take the risk of... I don't want to take the risk of playing this and not getting what I need. I want to be able to K or like move something once once I have the pieces that I actually know that I have. I don't want to take a guess and be like, oh, am I going to be able to get this? I don't know. So next turn we can play a Borsellino just to bottom deck this one. So we Borsellino the Borsellino and we should be okay. A Lucci is fine for us. It's not the worst thing in the world. We actually might want to bottom deck this because it's guaranteed to swing here. Let's just counter out since we can. Actually, let's just bottom deck the Borsellino because we know we can't KO it. Go here. And I think I want to get rid of the Brand. No. Let's get rid of the Sabo. See what we can get here. Okay, cool. That's fine. Another 2K. I'm not going to complain about 2Ks in hand. We still want to see if we can find a Houndblaze, potentially. That'd be nice. Any Rebekahs would be also good here. I think we want to take one hit and see what we can get from it. They are playing One-Legged Soldier. This is also a very good tech, considering that this is a -3 cost to an opponent's character. And it's also 2K, so very nice utility, but it's not searchable, so that's the only downside there. So you kind of have to come across it, which in this deck, you'll often come across a lot of cards. I imagine that, okay, this is fine. Me not being able to swing or KO their stuff is not a problem here. We can just set up like a Borsellino the next turn, or maybe find pieces to answer that stuff next turn. So they're going to go 8. We'll take this, and they will go 6. We'll counter out of that one. We can pass. Let's get rid of the Hina for now. Manshare is not the worst thing in the world, to be honest. Let's play a brand new, see what we get from it. Great Eruption's fine. Oh. I'm going to go 8 here. We want to pressure their hand. They decide to give it, which is probably the smart thing to do, to be honest. We could go, we have 7 to play with, so we could go Manshare, you get something back, play a Borsellino. So let's just swing 5 first. Or 6 first, rather. And this is fine. Let's see what we can get off the Manshare. Let's return stuff that we won't be able to get back. So a Rebekah, for instance. Oh, we could have gotten the Rebekah back. I messed up by clicking that. That was my fault. Let's grab a Sabo, I think. I think Sabo's fine here. And pass. I should have grabbed the Rebekah, to be honest. That was my fault for putting it back in the deck. Because getting the Rebekah is extremely strong here, especially when we have all these Hinas in the trash. So yeah, that feels bad. Do we want to protect this? No, we can let it go. That's fine. All right, let's see what we can get off of this. We have a couple of Great Eruptions here, so maybe we can get the Mihawk down low enough. Let's cycle our Lucci since we already have one. Nice. Okay, so we can play a Rebekah, get the Mihawk down to 5, get the Mihawk down to 3. Get the Mihawk down to 2 with our leader swing, get the Sabo down to a fair amount. Okay, let's try this out. We're probably going to expend a lot of cards here. That's not bad. Down here, let's go 6 at lead, minus this, down to 7. Okay. Our other option here is to go Houndblaze. Yeah, I think we go Houndblaze and go 8. So we bottomed at the Mihawk, which is really nice. Seeing a Mihawk kind of feels like they are running a 10 drop, which I feel like they're signaling that because of just how many 2Ks they just dropped there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2Ks in the trash. Okay. A Borsalino there isn't awful for us. If they go with the Hina, I don't really care if this dies, to be honest. I kind of want it in the trash, if anything. Sure. Let's get rid of the Sabo. Get that down. Can we go 3? We can. We can get this down low enough with the Tashigi Rob Lucci. Okay. We're just eating cards out of their hand right now. Now we play the Lucci, use the combo here to put back our events because there's no way to get them out outside of that. I don't know if that was the most efficient use of our cards and our Dawn, but I think it worked out. They have a clear board. We have a blocker here. This looks like a 10 drop, like easily. Let's just keep this here. Yeah. Yeah. Figured as much. Can we... Are we able to pressure them? Let's try. Let's go 7 here. 2, okay. Let's get the Sabo going. Ooh. We can't do anything this turn, unfortunately. Let's just hit him hard, I guess. Let's just hit him hard. We have 2 blockers up. I think we can be okay. They can't KO it. They can't KO anything on the board, but they might be able to bottom deck a Rebecca and then swing hard. But we could throw another Rebecca down. If they want to go here, that's totally fine. And now we just need to find a way to get past them. They have 6 cards in hand, so hopefully they don't drop another. Okay, an Ice Age here. That's unlucky. How many Ice Ages? I thought I saw them drop one already, yeah. Woo, look at that. They have 4 cards in hand. We might be able to math it out at this point, to be honest. Just depends on what they throw down here. We will see. I mean, we're definitely taking this hit, no matter what. They're probably going to bottom deck. I imagine they have like a 7. Okay, they're not going to bottom deck the Rebecca. They're just going to swing 9, and we'll take it, of course. We'd be a fool not to. Great Eruption. Perfect card to combo with the Houndblaze, depending on what they throw down here. That is awesome. That is also awesome. They have 2 cards in hand. They're going to get 1 back. I don't imagine it'll be anything else but a 2K here. So we have to keep that in mind when we're swinging. Can we go for a game? I believe we can. Tashigi, so 2, 7, 9. Sorry, 7, 9, 11. So we have to keep that in mind here. Will they be able, or can we get this down low enough to KO both of these? We can play this, get this down to 5, get this down to, get this down to 6, 4, 2. Yeah, I think we can actually do this here. Get that down, get that down. Get that down. I don't really think we need a Borsalino here. Houndblaze is good. Ooh, Houndblaze is really good. Yeah, let's do it. Put our events back. What else can we put back? Doesn't really matter at this point, I don't think. So let's just put a 2K back. Get rid of these 2. Swing 6 a lead. We have 2 blockers up. They have 3 in hand. Yeah. Obviously, we knew that they had 1 Tashigi there. I think that was a good play overall. I don't know exactly what their play here would be. Ina, whatever it is, they have like no cards left in hand at this point, and I think we're okay to kind of go for game. We can go Tashigi, bottom deck the Borsalino, and then double Houndblaze. We just need to protect our Tashigi, because I think the Tashigi is the one way that we actually win this. We do have a Suru in hand. Keep that in mind, that we can play if we do need to, but I think it'd be smart just to keep as much in our hand as possible. Oh, yeah. We definitely need this Tashigi alive. Okay. Yep, and there you go. We were able to bottom deck everything they had and take down a Kaido, which is, without an Ice Age, is kind of hard. We used a lot of cards in our hand, though, which is that one of the problems of this deck is that if you aren't running a Kaido or something to innately draw you a lot of cards, you will go down a small hand size very quickly, which is one of the reasons why Star Vanel was so good against Sakazuki at the beginning of this meta. But yeah, in the mirror, usually you want to go second. You have the advantage going second, but I think we were able to pull it out here, thankfully. On to the next. All right, going against Nami, I think we want to just keep this hand. I think it's a fair hand. One of the things that you want to do against a Nami is establish as many bodies as possible and just do 5 pokes at them. Even though they are using their abilities or like their counter events to mill themselves, swinging 5 is the most efficient way to do it until you can start getting bigger bodies where you can start swinging 9. One thing that we want to do is find a Lucci if possible. I probably should have used my leader ability there. What is this? What in tarnation is this? Okay. I'm going to use my Great Eruption on this, and then I'm going to Houndblaze it. Swing 5. They'll probably take that. I don't want them to have that card, because what it does is draw 2, trash 2, which is an amazing card for them to be able to cycle through their deck with, especially if you can't answer it. We don't need 2 Sabos, so let's make sure to use our leader ability this time. And we can pass. I imagine that they'll just swing 5 here. I think I want to protect it. Gum Gum Rain is not a bad option, especially when they're tapped out. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to protect this, so just let it go. It's fine. We can swing 5 here. Sure. Take that. Take it. Let's go here, and then I'm going to play Tashigi just to get another body on the board. Nami typically will not ever swing into your life unless they try to use their leader ability to mill one, and usually if they're doing that, that means they don't have much to do. I'm okay with them bouncing that. I think I'm okay with them bouncing that. Am I? Am I now? Let's see what we can get, I guess. Not exactly what we want to see, of course. Damn. We don't have any KO effects here, which is a problem. So they will be able to get this. Oh, it's draw 1, trash 1. That's not the worst thing in the world. I thought it was draw 2, trash 2. That's fine. If they do this, it's not a problem. And we want to take life here because they are technically starving us. We did use a lot of resources to try to find a KO answer or like a bottom deck answer, but didn't find it, unfortunately. And this is not going to help either, especially with the effect. We don't care if the Da's Bones is on the field. One of the reasons why Nami is definitely good into this deck. Get rid of this. Come on. Where's all my stuff at? Okay, Borsalino can help out here. Give that a minus. Swing 5. We're just swinging 5s. Swing 5. Okay. Bottom. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the Mancherry on the field. Pass. Putting the Mancherry on the field is nice because it allows us to get something back. Ideally, wow, they don't have a lot of cards left, do they? In the hand, 2 in the hand. This is what poking them for 5 does. I imagine they're probably going to go after one of these, put like maybe 7, 8, and swing at one of these. Wow, another Sanji's peel off. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's get rid of this Hina. Gosh, why is it always I trash a Hina and then draw a Hina? It's the worst thing in the world. What can we get back? Ooh, we can actually get this Lucci back. Let's do that. Use the card action to put back these guys. You always want to put back your events if you can. I guess I should have gotten rid of the Dawes bone so they can't replay it like that. We'll swing here. Select the target, sure. Now, the unfortunate thing here is that... What do they get? Return... What did they do? Oh, Rubber Band of Doom. Okay, got it. Not the worst thing. We're going to swing 5 here, and we're going to actually replace this with a Borsalino so that we can protect our Kuzan if we need it. The fact that they're taking these 5s is a good sign overall. I guess we can actually just play the Kuzan now. Draw another card. They are getting a lot of triggers, which sucks, but that's part of playing against Nami, is that they do have a fair amount of triggers in their life that will cause them to draw cards. And we have a huge hand to defend whatever they like to throw at us, and we just swing 5s this next turn. And then with the Borsalino, we'll swing 9, because that's kind of harder. That requires more cards for them to be able to counter out of. The reason why you swing 5 is because oftentimes they have events that will either counter out for a 7 or a 9, and that is the least efficient way for them to counter out, especially if they're doing the 9. If they're just doing it to mill something, that's fine, I suppose, but if you swing for 5, it just feels bad for the Nami player to do that. We're going to keep this on the board, because why not? Let's be smart about it. Let's just be smart about it. Let's just swing. Let's just swing. I was looking for something to bottom deck. See, they're using like big counters to be able to stay alive. They are at 10, so something to keep in mind is if they do have some things to mill, then just that is a problem, I suppose. Another Deathwink? Ooh. And see, now I think we can just go for game. Because this is 7-9 potentially, right? So you just go 9 and then just hope that they don't have a Deathwink in life. Was it Sanji's peel-off, or is it Rubber Band of Doom? Yep. All right, so yeah, swinging 5s consistently against Nami is the best way to beat Nami. It is really annoying for them to have to counter out of the 5s with some of their bigger stuff, especially when you have like a 5 and they swung, or they countered out for, what, plus 6,000? That doesn't feel good for them. So yeah, 5s is the way to go. Purple Luffy is an interesting deck to go against. Usually Sakazuki does well against Purple Luffy, but Purple Luffy definitely has some things that it can do to make sure that they keep an advantage. Let's keep this hand because I think it's not the worst thing in the world. We're going to play a brand new to see what we get. We'll get the Hound Blaze, and then let's get rid of the Lucci because I think I want to throw down the Kuzan next turn. Depends on what they do here. I think this is a potential Law turn. They could go the double body. Yeah, ulti. Oh, they only do the 1. That is actually huge for us. Let's trash this Hina. Once again, Hina's like the most trashable card. Let's go... I guess we could go 6-6. Or no, let's go 5-7. 5-7's good. And if they throw down a 5 cost, then we can bottom deck it with the Borsalino the next turn. Unless the next turn they do play a... what is it? The... Magellan? And then we go down to 6 Dawn. That could be the only problem, I suppose. It feels bad attacking into that thing. Always feels bad. Okay. Captain Kidd here, huh? Oh, we are at 6 anyway. Didn't matter. Did not matter. Let's trash the Hina. Great Eruption, see what we get. Nothing. That's fine. Not shabby. Not shabby. We can't attack in, but that's okay. This could be a Kaido turn, which... Okay, Magellan turn is not the worst thing in the world. We'll take this, I imagine. We'll probably take 2 here, because they'll probably go 8-8. That's fine. That's also fine. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll go down. Let's trash this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, so we're going to do this. Bottom deck and pass. Now, if they play a Kaido here, they will be able to KO the Sabo. We can counter out of a couple things because we do have a fair amount of 2Ks in hand. The Poly doesn't have an effect as far as KOing anything, so we're okay with that. Let's take this, see what we get, and then they're going to go 8 again. Totally fine. How do we KO both of these things? We could go Rebecca. Get this down to 3. Get this... Oh, I think we can actually do it, right? It's kind of awkward, but we have to... Get this down to 3. Get this down to... Ice Age. Use this. Get rid of both of the bodies and then swing 8. Okay. That's fine. Now, the problem is if they have a Kaido this turn, they're going to get rid of the Sabo. They're going to swing into the Borsalino. We block it with the Rebecca. And then what do we do after that? We don't have the Ice Age anymore. Okay. Poly to get rid of the Rebecca. That's fine. Do they go 8 at life? They do. Let's just block it. Get rid of this Hina. Swing 5 here. Great Eruption. I'm going to go 6 here. Or 7 here. It's going to be hard for them to counter out. Bottom deck. Go 9. We can go another 9 with this Borsalino. It's not guaranteed game here. I don't want to go all out. I guess we had game regardless, but just to play it safe, I wanted to play the Borsalino down so that if they had the Kaido, they can't KO it, and we have a blocker for the Kaido if it comes at us. So yeah, that was honestly a little closer than I would hope for, but we did, I think, manage at the end of the day. We didn't have anything to answer the 7-drop Kid, which sucked, but overall, I think this is how the matchup goes. So yeah. Finally, I've been looking for a Katakuri for a while. They choose to go second, which is the right choice for them. I think we keep this, and then we trash the Hina. Rebecca's good as a replacement, and then we'll pass turn. We do have this Hina to draw a card off of, which is very nice. So let's play this Hina first. Actually, let's swing first. Hopefully we don't hit anything in life. They probably counter out of this first one. Usually I'll see Katakuris counter out of the first hit so that they can see what exactly they have in life. If they, for whatever reason, grabbed something here, a Satori is really annoying, but it is what it is. The Kuzan doesn't really do us much good going into this next turn, so let's get rid of it. The brand new is actually not too bad. If we can find, I think it's a... What is it? Great Eruption? Turn a cost 3 or less to the owner's hand. No. Great Eruption's not bad. I think Great Eruption's fine. Let's counter out of this one, though, because I don't want to take 2 hits. Borsalino's fine. I'm going to trash the Sabo. Oh, yay. This is not looking good, my guys. We'll do this, because I don't like using the cards like this, to be honest. That's not the worst thing in the world. I think we are able to clear this body. If we... Ooh, they protected that. Wow. That is insane. That's insane because next turn it's gone. It's just gone next turn. And now they have, like, nothing. Okay. You think they go 10? No, there's no way. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We don't care if the Hina goes down. What do they have for 3? Why did they leave 3 up? What? Okay, well, they only had that one body, so let's just swing here. Get it down to 4, and then play our Borsalino. And I'm going to get rid of a Tashigi. I think that's fine. We have a Hina in the trash. So we can go Rebecca, Hina, Houndblaze something. We don't need 2 Ice Ages, though. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. It'd be nice to have something like a blocker, I suppose. What's gonna really suck? Okay, that's not the worst thing in the world. Honestly, not the worst thing in the world. I was expecting like another body to come down, and I'm just waiting for another body to come down. Okay. Another body did come down. We're gonna swing 6, and I'm gonna do this again. Another 6. Whoo! Look at that. We swing with the Suru. Is that the right play? I don't know, but it felt right. Because they have Big Mom coming. So now we just go 9, because it's unlikely that they can counter out of this. And then we just put the rest on leader and swing. That should be game. Yeah, you just beat them before they can start chaining the Big Moms. That was overall pretty good. Yeah, not too bad. Well, there you have it. This is Sakazuki at probably its peak performance, I would imagine. Not me playing it personally. Of course, that is not what I meant when I said peak performance, but this deck list, I think, is probably the most well-rounded version of Sakazuki, which is understandable why it won EU Nats. There are versions that run the 10-cost Kaido or maybe like 9-cost Mihawks, and I think those are very good as well. If I were building the list myself, I probably would try to find room for the 10-cost Kaidos. You can probably cut a Hina or like a Kuzan in order to do so, or maybe even an Ice Age for that matter. But I think overall this deck list is very, very solid, understandable why it won. One thing to note, we didn't come across any Zoros in our gameplay. Zoro, Whitebeard, those decks that bring aggression to Sakazuki, and also in addition to that, Enel if they're playing more of an aggro variant. Those decks definitely provide a lot of pressure against Sakazuki, and it makes it a little bit harder to sustain yourself over time. So keep that in mind if you're looking to pick this deck up and play it, especially going into 06. This is a deck that will be here, a leader that will be here for time to come, especially with the new additions coming in 06 with the 8-cost Gecko Moria. So Sakazuki is a leader that will be here for a little while, which is one thing that I appreciate about this leader. One thing that I've noticed about One Piece card game in general is that once a set is finished, you don't really see a leader last much outside of the set, obviously minus outside of like Law or Whitebeard, but it is one of those things where if you invest heavily in a certain deck, there's a chance that it doesn't exist in the next set or the next meta. So Sakazuki is one that we do know will stay for at least another meta or two. So keep that in mind when trying to look for something to play going into the next set, especially if you're new into the game. But overall, Sakazuki, very strong leader, probably my least favorite character in One Piece once again. So that's why I haven't played it, but hopefully you guys enjoy this deck. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.